What is up, guys and gals? Welcome to episode number 190 of the Nonsense Review. That's right, we're not officially related to them, but we are flogging their phone number. It's the Brazilian military police.
Jesus, I have no idea. Fair enough. Hello.
190 is the phone number for the Brazilian military police. That's all I got.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm your host as always, Devon. Joining me equally as always is a very confused Rick.
Yes, hello.
Today we are doing our final dive into Scooby-Doo, at least for this year. We're doing What's New Scooby-Doo from 2003. I need to specify that because sometimes the names are very similar, so there's the year. Rick, you've got anything interesting to tell us?
Yeah, apparently this episode from, I think it was 24th of October 2003, the thing that happened that day is that it was the final flight of Concorde.
It was the 25th of October 2003.
25th of October, okay, the 24th was the final flight of Concorde. Yeah, other things that were out that month included School of Rock and Kill Bill Volume 1.
Or released the day before, you've got Scary Movie Part 3.
Oh shit, yeah.
Arguably the best scary movie.
I've only seen the first one.
You've only seen the first Scary Movie?
Yeah.
That's fucked because number 2 and 3 are actually better.
Yeah, because the first one was mid.
And then it takes a real dive at 4. I don't know if they made any more after that.
Yeah, and also apparently the Scary Movie franchise is the best one of the ones that they did. Like they had like Epic Movie, Hero Movie, and things like that, and Disaster Movie, I guess.
Yeah, Disaster Movie and Epic Movie were both things they did, and yeah, it was very much. If you didn't know before watching the movies, you'd know after that. Oh, that's just Scary Movie, but doing this genre.
Yeah. But yeah, those are things that I've seen. Do you have any more tidbits to add?
Very quickly, while we're on the state of the world front, Scary Movie 3 came out literally the day before this episode aired. School of Rock came out at the beginning of the month in America. In the UK, because back in the year 2003, movies didn't universally release around the globe. We didn't actually get either of those movies until January and February of the next year.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just want to point out to everybody, Scary Movie 3 in the UK didn't come out in October, it came out in fucking January.
Yep.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, we got the same, like, stupid thing that we got with that we get with like video games back then.
Oh god,
they just have to wait to translate it from English into English.
Video games were very egregious on that front. But yeah, we're talking about the worlds for that moment. So very quickly, in the charts, we had Muse and Sting topping the charts with their respective albums of Absolution and Scared Love. But fuck all that. I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness was topping the charts because of course it was. It's a great song.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things, like, if you could wrangle your voice, you became God at karaoke.
Oh god, yeah, like what's his name, Justin Hawkins, isn't it?
Yeah.
He can get incredibly high. Good on him. I believe he still tours with The Darkness as well. So you know.
Yeah, I believe he does. But also, even then, he still used a voice modulator. So he was very good at it. But even he couldn't do everything that he purported to do.
Jesus. Okay, I never would have guessed.
Yeah. It was a very good voice modulator.
Well, obviously, except for the part where it goes into the fucking so high pitched you can't hear it. Obviously. Obviously, that wasn't. Anyway, but yeah, shall we talk about Scooby-Doo and a bit of background?
Yeah, because this was the. I'm going to say this was another crossover series because we've already had like crossover series in the past.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't the main feature. You had episodes with sometimes would have characters appearing in it from other shit, but it wasn't the main focus.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's not like the quote-unquote most recent series.
No. Or At the Movies either.
Yeah, the At the Movies one. Yeah, I think the kind of currentish one is like Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. But even that is a few years old now.
Yeah. But yeah, the series' first episode originally aired on 14th of September 2002. Had 3 seasons running until the 21st of July 2006 at 14 episodes a pop for a total of 42.
Okay.
Most notably, I found this is the first Scooby-Doo series made after Hanna-Barbera officially pretty much dissolved. This is 100% a Warner Bros. Project. They've got Hanna-Barbera for the licensing reasonings, but for all intents intents and purposes, Hanna-Barbera no longer existed at this point.
Yeah, I saw that it was I had a Warner Brothers splash screen.
Yeah, it's also the first series to come out after William Hanna's death.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, neither Hanna nor Barbera are with us anymore. And
No.
honestly, the fact that this is made under the Warner Brothers umbrella and is like a Warner Brothers project, man, don't we long for the days where every studio was its own thing?
Yeah.
Like, everything's got to be Disney or Warner... Which, Disney or Warner Brothers, really. Anything else doesn't get a fucking look in.
Yeah, I mean, like, the closest thing to a third place is, like, DreamWorks.
They're a very distant third nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, DreamWorks is just Universal these days, isn't it? 'Cause they have been for quite some time, but I think when Universal also bought Illumination, and they decided that because Minions make more money than Shrek, that Illumination is now going to be their main animation arm.
Yeah, except we've got Shrek 5 coming out.
Yeah.
Apparently. I don't think DreamWorks is owned by Universal.
It might not be owned by them, but they're definitely bedfellows.
Yeah, but those are two different things.
Yeah, then they're at minimum bedfellows. If they're not owned by them, then cool.
Fair enough. Alrighty, so the episode today we're watching is rather fittingly called A Scooby-Doo Halloween, and is the 6th episode of Season 2, originally airing 25th of October 2003. Why do I bring this up? Because if this wasn't a weird week where we had to record a day early, it would be the exact same day, only 19 years later, 21 years later even.
Yep.
Fred, Shaggy, and Daphne's voice actors return. Fred's VA, Frank Welker, is taking up the mantle of Scooby-Doo as well, so he's pulling double duty. And this is Casey Kasem's final series voicing Shaggy, as he retired the role in 2009.
Oh.
Yeah, he obviously passed away in, I believe, 2014. Weirdly enough, he retired voicing Shaggy to essentially hand the role over, but he still appears in future Scooby-Doo projects voicing Shaggy's relatives.
That's kind of cute, though.
Yeah. Velma also sees BJ Ward replaced by Mindy Cohn.
Okay.
Mindy Cohn has since also been replaced. Nowadays, it's a new voice actress, but hey-ho, did-a-do. I haven't got much to say about the episode itself because we're watching it today.
Yep.
We're watching it because Kiss are effectively guest stars. Sort of. I did a bit of a dive here. Paul Stanley does give voice to himself in this episode, but Gene Simmons is like, I'm not doing that shit. So instead, Gene Simmons is voiced by Tom Kenny. So when you hear Paul Stanley talk, that's Paul Stanley. When you hear Gene Simmons talk, he ain't fucking coming into the recording booth for less than $5,000.
Yeah, fair enough.
I want to point out,
boy.
Gene Simmons is a notorious money-grabbing bastard, and I kind of respect him for it.
Yeah.
Because he's a money-grabbing bastard, but he's not a dick. I mean, he is a dick, but he's a dick to other people who are more dickish.
Yeah. He's on the dick ladder, not a dick mountain.
Absolutely. And this is the part of the podcast where I throw over to Rick to once again tell us that glorious story about that deal with Saban.
Yes, where Saban starts insulting him in Yiddish. Sorry, in Hebrew, and he just turns to him and says, in Hebrew, "You asshole, I'm one of you."
So the exact quotes I've always been given is they're negotiating the actual pay rate, and that's when Saban turns to his associate and says in either Hebrew or Yiddish, I forget the exact language they use, and says, all right, now we fuck him. And that's when Gene Simmons tells them in their own language, because he is, I believe he's Israeli descent, straight up says, I'm one of you, you fucks, and then walks out.
Yep.
That's such a glorious story.
It's great.
But yeah, we can talk about the commercialization of Kiss all we want. Well, I can. Rick could probably chime in from here and there. But to be honest, motherfuckers got to eat. They're not
totally.
They're not billionaires, so I don't really blame them.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that out of the way, as I say, we're going to watch some Scooby-Doo. But we have to hold fire a little bit because those of you familiar with the show know we like to talk about our weeks and the goings on in the wide universe. So with that in mind, Rick, how has your week been, buddy?
Well, the only thing I've really done this week is I have also watched Transformers 1, which is something that you did last week.
Yes, you touched upon this, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts.
I enjoyed it, and spoilers for the foregone conclusion. I think the only thing I found weird about it, other than, how mystifyingly bad the trailer was compared to how good the actual movie was, is Megatron deciding to, be Megatron Cybertron at the end the way that we know him, because, like, until that point, most things were kind of sympathetic.
I kind of understand what you mean, but, like, again, it makes perfect sense from Megatron's point of view.
Yeah, it's a kind of, we'll tear everything down, but also, why would they call themselves the Decepticons?
Okay, the reason they're calling themselves the Decepticons is because they will never be deceived again. They make that clear in the film.
Yeah, but that's such a weird wording of that. But
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. However, because this is an origin movie and there's not a war, this is essentially setting up the war between Decepticons and Autobots, which the Autobots aren't really named.
Well, they do call them the Autobots, and let's say because Prime goes, oh yeah, we're autonomous, and that means that all robots here on Cybertron are Autobots.
But that's what I'm saying, though, because Megatron straight up calls themselves Decepticons, but Optimus doesn't straight up call themselves the Autobots. That's the only point I'm making. I know they use the words that they mash together, but whatever. So because this is setting up the war between Decepticons and Autobots, they need to have everybody be good guys to start with.
Yeah.
However, this also falls down a little bit because Soundwave's in the movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a weird one where it's Soundwave and Starscream and Shockwave is the third.
Yeah, sorry, I said Soundwave. I meant Starscream. Soundwave is usually quite a G.
I mean, Soundwave is also a Decepticon in the...
but like he's ride or die with Megatron. Starscream's always trying to fucking take over as leader.
Yeah. Starscream, Steve Buscemi as well.
Yeah, like I told you, right? Perfect. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's great.
Did you see what I meant with Chris Hemsworth not sounding like Chris Hemsworth at all?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can do this. Fuck you, Chris Pratt.
And you can also, like, feel the vocal evolution as he starts to try and sound more like classic Prime.
It's so good. Like, because Chris Hemsworth has already, like, we've had years of Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
Yeah.
He can do the heroic booming voice if he wants to.
Yeah.
And they didn't
and we also know
it.
that he can. And we also know that he can do it in an accent that is not his native, because it's easy to forget that he's an Aussie.
Yeah. I did not learn that fact until disappointingly late.
Yeah. But yeah, liked it. Don't know if I'll watch the inevitable set of sequels that come out of it, but it was fun.
I honestly suspect they're angling for a show.
Yeah. It feels like the grounding for a series. I can see that stuff just being dialed back, recast all of the big parts, and go from there.
Well, again, the beauty of it is, despite having really big names in the cast, they didn't sound like themselves. They were doing characters.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
The other things that happened in the week, though, Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 has been confirmed.
I saw this as a headline for a YouTube video, and I didn't click on it because it seemed like the biggest clickbait ever.
Well, apparently the filming begins in 2025, so that's pretty much all we know, and anything else that gets written down in any article is just article padding. So yeah, it'll be... In fact, I think it'll come out still probably after the next Avengers, but yeah, it's not going to be for a while that it comes out. And the last thing that I've seen is Netflix's Team Blue has been closed. This is their AAA game studio that they made with staff from Bungie and Blizzard, and with individuals from Halo, Overwatch, and God of War. It's a AAA game studio that they made, and after 2 years, they've not finished a single game, and they've been closed.
I've never fucking heard of this team before.
Yeah, maybe because they've not made anything.
Yeah, but also 2 years, and they're saying they're AAA games. Like, AAA games take longer than 2 years more often than not.
Oh, yeah, totally. So, like, it screams to me that some stuffed suit has decided, this thing that we're pouring money into has not yet made money, therefore we're shuttering it.
Yeah, yeah. I've got not much else to add here. It's just a really weird story.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame for the people who, actually put their trust in Netflix and started working for them, and hoped to make something good. And yeah, shame on Netflix for cancelling yet another thing, this time before they even released it.
As long as the people working on things are allowed to keep proof of their work, like people who make like UI and stuff, they'll be fine. Concept artists will be fine. Programmers will likely be fine.
Yeah, like anyone who's just been paid a salary is probably okay, because they're probably just going to get a salary somewhere else. But people people that require a portfolio to like advertise themselves, yeah, those are the ones that really need IP access to snippets of their work.
But again, as long as they've been working on things, if nothing's come out and nothing's going to come out now, there's nothing saying that they can't take snippets of that and still show off their work.
True.
I'm just saying, you're being very doom and gloom about this, but I'd hold fire until like after a month or two of the studio closing and then checking in on them, because you said these guys were former Bungie people, more or less.
Yeah, some of them are Bungie, some of them are Activision, some of them are.
Well, you said God of War, so I'm assuming Santa Monica.
Yeah, there's some Sony Santa Monica. Yeah.
So yeah, these guys have allegedly already got pedigree, so they'll land on their feet. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Some of them might even be like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go do indie for a while. I don't know why people will willingly demote themselves to that level, but people do.
Yeah. But that's about it from what I've seen and what I've done. It's been a very light week for me. How about you? What have you been, and what have you done, and what have you seen?
What have I been? I've been Devon, my friend. Yeah. But yeah, I've played a few games.
Mm-hmm.
I've been replaying Final Fantasy IX, this time on the PC, using the Moguri mod.
Ah, yes. What does this do?
It makes the game look prettier. That's one big tick.
Cool.
Here's a few things it does that makes the game not trivial, but a lot more bearable, shall we say.
Okay.
First things first. This one is kind of a cheat, but I don't care. It sets steal rate to 100%.
Ah, yeah, because, you will eventually get the thing. It's just a case of, will you have to reset the entire fight and do it again?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is there are at least 3 encounters, maybe 4 even. There's 3 or more encounters that you have a hard time limit, and there's items where at that point in the game, the chance of stealing is 1 in 256.
Yeah.
And you, like the Beatrix encounters, you get at most 10 turns.
Yes.
Because Beatrix is scripted to end the fight after 10 turns, or if you deplete her health bar. So, yeah, you do the math on that. It's not a fun time. So, yeah, you just steal automatically, which is how they've done it in FF10 and 10.2. If you steal, you just steal.
Yes.
And, granted, you don't have access to a thief the entire time. Zidane is a thief, so he's got steal from the get-go. And one of the big gimmicks of this particular game is all the bosses have really good items that you can steal. 9 out of 10 bosses have really good items you can steal. But yeah, so I've got that activated. I don't care. I've beaten the game so many times. I'm going to cheat.
Yes.
One of the other things that I've toggled on is you can now activate trance.
Oh, okay.
So you still have to build up your trance meter, but you can use it when you want. You don't have to you don't automatically trigger it.
Yeah, so, no, just automatically proccing it in some random RNG fight and then never getting to use it in any useful moment.
I think this is the only game that does this.
Yeah, because it takes so long to build up the meter.
Yeah, it makes High Tide a must if you want to abuse trance, but it's, yeah. So yeah, again, I'll point to FF10, overdrives, you build up your meter and then you just got it, you can use it, and it resets your meter once you use it.
Yeah.
I very rarely have had trance activate during boss fights that give that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, other than the one time that it does it automatically and that's it.
There are 3 times that I can remember top of my head where trance activates as part of plot. The very first time where Zidane's got the Orn for dagger, so he gets trance because he wants to save her. Vivi during the Black's Waltz number 3 first fight, which was a very emotional scene and I'm still not over it.
Yeah.
And Steiner gets it during the defense of Alexandria because he's got the Orn for Beatrix and doesn't want her to get hurt.
Yeah.
So, And also Steiner's is the best trance because he doesn't get anything special, it just doubles his strength.
Yeah, and it puts his helmet on.
It's literally just he flings his visor down. And my god, this mod lets you see faces properly.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh god, FF9 is a very beautiful game, but you wouldn't know it if you've only played it on only played it on PlayStation 1.
Yeah. I found out actually recently that the PlayStation jitter is because they didn't know how to do fractions in the PlayStation hardware. So based on so the pixels essentially move on a grid.
Oh, okay.
So the reason that things look so jittery and shaky is because the skeleton is trying to move smoothly, but the best it can do is move the edges of the character model on the pixel grid.
Oh, that's a very interesting thing you just explained.
Yeah.
The last thing...
I hoped it would be interesting. Yeah.
The last thing that I have toggled on Meguri Mod is, hey, do you like Tetramaster?
Oh boy.
No.
Yeah, no. Nobody does.
Nobody does. Click this button and it turns it into Triple Triad.
Sweet.
So I click that button and every single fucking card is now a Triple Triad card, and you got a 3x3 grid to play on every time.
Cool. Best mod.
The only funny thing about this is it does make the scripted card battle you have to do trivially easy, because that NPC only uses Oglop cards and they're just 4/4/4/4.
Right, yeah, so all you need to do is, beat a 4 somehow. Gee, I wonder how.
Yeah. I mean, 4/4/4/4 is a generally just useful average card to put somewhere defensively, but if your deck only has those in it, you suck.
Yeah, like, you're basically never going to win.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm currently on disc 3. I've just finished the Alexandria, where you summon Alexander to summon.
Yeah.
So I might be talking about FF9 again next week.
Yeah, sweet.
I also played Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, the Game Boy Advance version.
Oh, the Game Boy Advance one. Okay, I didn't even know they did one of these.
Yeah, so I touched upon this once when we were just shooting the shit one time, where I discovered that Lord of the Rings: Third Age had a Game Boy Advance port, and I'm like, that can't be good. And I was wrong. It's very good. It's a completely different game.
Okay. How is it different?
It's a turn-based strategy game, not a turn-based RPG like Final Fantasy X.
Alrighty.
You pick your commander at the beginning, your overall commander. The good side has Gandalf, Aragorn, or Elrond. The bad side has Saruman, Malthus, Sauron, or the Rich King. And each battlefield is divided into 3 segments. You've got the middle, centre aisle, you've got the left flank, and the right flank. Each one of these segments has their own command points.
Okay.
And you can only use that amount of command points in that segment.
Sure.
It's annoying to explain, but yeah, you generate a random amount of command points per segment. You get 0 to 1 if there's no commander in there. Otherwise, you use the commander's command point value.
Sure.
You appear to have 2 types of heroes. You've got heroes that are beasts in combat, and you've got heroes who are commanders.
Sure.
Heroes that are beasts in combat, I don't think I need to explain. Heroes that are commanders basically have a minimum of 1 command point per turn, and they can get a maximum of 4. Whereas the combat ones are usually between 0 and 2 command points. So you can get slightly more than having no hero in there, but you can still get 0. So, it is that. Each map has its own criteria. In fact, the reward points, honestly, the way they dish them out, it feels like the Lord of the Rings miniature battle game Games Workshop did.
Sure.
So it's like, capture this point, don't let this point get captured, kill X heroes, etc., etc. I've only played a few missions. I've got Elrond as my big captain because he seems like a good middle ground between combat and leadership. And
sure.
He also has both melee and ranged, which is a very nice thing to have.
Yeah, good stuff.
The only thing is the game spoils you a bit with the first battle, because the first battle, you've got a bunch of elves with you that just completely murk orcs, no problem. Second battle, you're fighting ring race with nothing but peasants.
Ah, yes. All right. Yeah. Not going to go well.
Yeah, but thankfully that one is just, if you put your units, you have to be willing to sacrifice units. Because you're not picking your army, you're just assigned units, you don't have to care if you lose units, because they don't carry over.
Sure, okay.
Or if they do carry over, the game hasn't explained that or shown it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm only a couple missions in, it's very fun. I don't know how much I'm going to play this, but it's a unique experience, shall I say.
Alrighty, sweet.
Last but not least, on the personal front, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 remake came out literally this morning.
Okay, I'm assuming you're downloading it right now.
It's only about 11 gigs.
Alright, okay.
So I downloaded it very quickly, and I've played about an hour of it this morning before the podcast.
Oh, even better. Are you enjoying it so far?
I'm so happy.
Good shit.
What they've done immediately that I can tell you that's different is, in the old games, there was a bunch of events you could have just happen, but if you wanted to know how to do them, you'd have to either look up a guide or just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, there's a whole section in your UI where if you press this button, it tells you the steps you need to go to unlock an event.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that being, like an actual boost.
Yeah, so there are personal events and there are historic events. Historic events kind of just happen anyway. because all the pieces just happen. But you can choose not to see the historic events, which means you can prevent land changes from occurring effectively.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these events are this person gets pissed off at this person and takes over their lands, and that just transfers territory without a battle having to happen.
Yeah.
They brought back the same system from original 8, where it's literally every year you can select as a start point, except for the tail end of the of the years, because then it does like 7-year jumps, because not a lot happens at the end of Three Kingdoms.
Sure.
I also suspect that in a month, maybe 2, we're going to get a bunch of DLCs that are additional scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah, to go on to fictional rather than historical. If you pre-ordered the game,
sure,
which I did by about 2 days, you get a couple of fictional scenarios for free, including the alliance against Cao Cao.
Okay.
And what if Gongsun Zan had beaten Yuan Shao instead of the other way around? Which, I appreciate you don't play Romance of the Three Kingdoms games, Rick.
No, I don't.
In almost every single game, Gongsun Zan actually beasts Yuan Shao because he's just got better armies in the game.
Sure.
Even more famously, Yuan Shao also 9 times out of 10 will beat Cao Cao because he's just got a bigger army at that point in history. But obviously, with historical events, as pretty much just scenes, Cao Cao gets auto wins, so you know.
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah, it's fun. I can't wait to play a lot more of it. I've made my own custom character. I'm playing as Cheng Shi because I always play as him. That was the name of my character in that fucking online tabletop game I told you about, Rick.
Yep, fair enough.
And the game looks very pretty.
Sweet.
Which is probably the biggest thing they could have done for this remake and was a must, and they nailed it. About the only criticism I can level at it at the moment is there's this thing called CG faces.
Right.
Certain characters will just move their faces. However, it looks like it's done by a very shoddy AI, and it looks incredibly uncanny, and I don't like it, so I'm probably going to turn those off.
Okie dokie.
It doesn't add anything, but when you're not expecting it to happen and a character's face moves, you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, fair enough.
It doesn't look natural or right in any way.
Oakley dokley.
Are you ready for some news?
Yeah, let's go.
Alrighty. We don't usually like to talk about politics on this podcast, but we're going to do it very briefly because, my God, did you see Trump's failed attempt at a publicity stunt?
I didn't, but I do know that a friend of mine was not able to get to his aunt's house because he had walled off the entire Madison Square Garden.
That's not even what I'm talking about. I don't know that story, and it sounds like you don't either.
No, he was having a rally in Madison Square Garden, which is a place in New York City.
Yeah, it's an arena.
Yeah.
What I'm referring to is that he was bigging up on the social medias that he's going to do more than Kamala Harris has ever done. He's going to work in a McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. I saw a picture of this. He didn't even roll his sleeves up.
Yeah, no, he did fuck all correctly. The nerve of Trump having a pop at anyone for never working.
Oh, yeah, fucking... It's not even a silver spoon, it's a silver fucking ladle.
But yeah, he did his photo op. The restaurant was closed for the entire day because they didn't want anyone getting near and touching Trump.
Yep.
And the funniest thing I found is when they took the picture of him handing fries to a customer, I'm doing air quotes, rather noticeably, the fries were the wrong way round so the McDonald's logo wouldn't show. It was very jarring seeing just a red packet, and I'm like, why doesn't that look right? Oh, there's no McDonald's logo on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the other way around, like, you see the fries and you see the McDonald's logo. Yeah, if he hands it that way, you just see a big red blob.
But I just want to, like, this will win over a lot of his fans anyway, because, you know, they worship the ground he walks on. But, like, he didn't flip burgers, he didn't fill fries, he just took a picture of him handing fries over a counter.
Yeah.
In a closed McDonald's that no one was allowed to go near that day.
Yeah.
A bunch of people also pointed out, boy, I hope all the other employees who couldn't work that day still got paid.
Oh boy, yeah.
Because I bet they fucking didn't.
Very on brand for McDonald's to not pay them.
I mean, again, it's one of those where, well, you didn't work that day. Yeah, you wouldn't let me.
Well, you didn't have a shift that day. You better make up that shift some other day.
Yeah. So another interesting thing to note is McDonald's is a franchise, which means independent owners for the stores allegedly.
Yeah.
Which means this would have been a store decision, as in this is only on that particular franchise holder's head and not McDonald's itself, and it might help explain why the McDonald's logo wasn't allowed to be shown.
Oh yes, actually, yeah. Yeah, now that you mention it.
But yeah, that's about all I got on that. I thought this entire story was hilarious. Unfortunately, Trump voters probably will be like, oh, see, he's a working man.
Yeah, oh well.
In other news, Rick, it looks like the new Blade movie is on indefinite hiatus.
Oh yeah, shit. I briefly saw this, but I didn't put it in my list because, like, that's all I know about it.
Yeah, we don't really know much. This Blade movie's been in hell since it was announced. It's always been knocked back on the schedule and just downplayed, which is a shame because the actor they've got to play Blade is he's just a good actor and deserves better than Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's not a lot to go on other than they've just taken Blade off of the planned releases section of their roadmap. So
yeah, shame.
Yeah, although it does make the Blade joke in Deadpool 3 very funny.
Yes, because it means that, yeah, it's retroactively true.
In other news, Takeshi Yamazaki, you may recognise that name or you may not. He was the director for Godzilla Minus One.
Mm-hmm.
He has voiced interest in doing a Godzilla vs. Hedorah remake.
Okay.
Hedorah is the giant goo monster made out of the world's pollution.
Okay, fair enough.
The reason why he wants to do a remake is he believes that technology will make the film look really fucking good now. But also, like, let's be honest, that message of, hey, stop polluting, still a pretty strong one.
It's even more useful today. Actually, no. Turns out, you know, the whole thing about quicksand and all that. I thought quicksand would be a bigger deal when growing up.
Oh yeah.
Acid rain was another thing. Like touted as a big deal when we were kids. Turns out that because people did something about it, it never became that big of a deal. So anybody who goes, oh yeah, acid rain was never a problem. Yeah, it was, and we stopped using CFCs.
Yeah, it's also the hole in the ozone layer. It's like, oh, how come that hole never got bigger? Because we fixed it, because we did this.
Yeah, we stopped making it bigger. Yeah, we stopped actively making it bigger.
Yeah, it's like we can do these things, we just choose not to.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, it's a little bit more nuanced, but yeah, anything that is a human construct can be solved by humans stopping making it worse.
Like, for real, like, one of the things about, like, farming on such an industrial scale is, hey, don't do it, and by that I mean meat farming. Don't farm that much meat, and it's like, but then we'll make less money. But you're throwing away this amount, but it's more profitable to throw away that amount than not make enough.
Yeah.
And it's I know, that's the fucked up scenario we're actually living in.
Mm-hmm.
We manufacture more than we need because it's more profitable to throw away the excess than it is to not make that amount.
Yeah.
I'm not going to point to a specific industry, but I'm thinking it.
Yeah. Fast fashion.
In somewhat sadder news, Paul Di'Anno passed away at the age of 66. For those of you who aren't familiar with that name, he was the original frontman for Iron Maiden.
Yes.
I'm much more familiar with Bruce Dickinson, but you can't deny that, like, this guy helped create the band and its original sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
66 isn't young, but you'd want to hit 70, wouldn't you?
Like, 66 is not in any way old these days. Like, they keep moving the goalposts on when retirement age is, so that's still working age, which is, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a real shame. All right, some news as far as releases go. Let's go for that. Creature Commandos is coming out on 5th of December via HBO Max.
Okay.
It's an animated DC show, so it's going to be, multiple episodes. The advertisement heavily used James Gunn's name.
Okay.
And it's a Suicide Squad type thing, except using people with animal-esque powers.
Sure. Like, so I was going to say, is Circe the animal villain?
No. She's far too fucking big of a deal to be in the Suicide Squad.
No, I meant like as a villain for the other animal people to go up against, I guess.
No, they haven't shown what the actual threat is. They've just shown the recruitment. Yeah, that's effectively what it is the advertisement is just, here's the characters that have been recruited into this team.
Okay.
And in case you didn't know it was a Suicide Squad type thing, the trailer is Amanda Waller.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So you get a bunch of E-listers that get promoted to D-list for this one show.
Including the weasel that was in the live-action Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I'll probably watch this if if I can find a way to watch it, because HBO Max is rather notorious in the UK because stuff on that platform could be on fucking anything over here.
Yeah, including regular telly.
Yeah. So Sky Atlantic or Now TV are usually the big ones that get them, but yeah, it all depends really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also, unrelated but sort of on brand, Totally Spies is totally getting a reboot.
Oh shit, yeah. I saw this and I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. I don't know if they're just going to continue from where they were, like post-university, in terms of like just the amount of time that has passed in the real world is now passed in Totally Spies-verse.
Oh, I haven't got a clue, man. It looks like they're just straight up rebooting it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I saw, for those of you who don't know, guys, when I've just got background noise on in a room and I have a TV, it's Cartoon Network just in the background because it's inoffensive. And I just saw this advert and I was like, that's weird. I wonder if they're going to tone down the sexual innuendos.
Yeah, because there's a freaking list of Totally Spies episodes by fetish.
Like, chances are, if you watched Totally Spies as a youngster, it awoke something in you, even if you didn't realise it.
Yeah, like the episode where Alex becomes a cat girl and all that.
Yeah, I don't remember episodes of Totally Spies. It wasn't something I watched, it's something I was aware of. Although, just by default, they always wear latex.
Oh, yeah. They wear latex a lot, and they get tied up a lot.
So, it is what it is. They haven't changed the outfits, so I guess there's that.
Yeah.
Last on my list is Rick. This is not a wrestling podcast.
What has happened?
Joining into the ever-increasing lawsuits against one Vincent Kennedy McMahon, survivors of the Ring Boy scandal are suing the fuck out of him.
Good on them, and best of luck to them.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain what the Ring Boy scandal is here. Guys can probably take a guess if you don't know already. But because of the most recent Vincent Kennedy McMahon documentary on Netflix, basically survivors of this and relatives of survivors found out that Vince McMahon knew a lot more about it than they thought he did.
Yeah.
So they're essentially suing over that because, they were under the impression that the perpetrators were the only ones responsible. They got fired, problem solved, swept under the rug, blah, blah, blah. But now it turns out, no, he knew a lot more than he was letting on. And, like, he's already under so much fire right now. He's got a federal investigation that is the only reason why the Jeanette Grant stuff hasn't proceeded is because they've been told to hold fire. Because, again, FBI investigation. I can only hope he faces justice and, tries to compensate his victims before he dies and goes into a fiery abyss. And I don't believe in that shit, but boy, do I wish I did when it comes to this shit.
Yeah.
Rick, what are we doing today, buddy?
We're doing Scooby-Doo. What's New Scooby-Doo? Season 2, Episode 6, A Scooby-Doo Halloween. 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, I resisted the urge to say the Scooby-the-Doo.
The Scooby-Doo. I like that. It's got the same font for the word Halloween as we do for our retrospective logo.
Oh, sounds like all something that you might have planned.
Actually, completely by accident.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Because our review logo is just the Scooby-Doo font.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's interesting that we start with an action scene and some credits rather than, a traditional theme tune.
Yeah. Like, I'm liking the animation style in this one.
It's a lot more modern and a lot more smooth.
Yeah. I love how Shaggy's just like powering us through.
Yeah. So I was told briefly while doing research on this series, this episode in particular is meant to be an homage to Scooby-Doo in general.
Sure, okay.
So that's why we've got the classic laugh track going on.
Okie dokie. So I'm guessing that wasn't showing up for the rest of the series.
Apparently not. Danning Junction. I was wondering what that noise is meant to be.
Yeah. But it's also Shaggy's got a hot poker up his ass because this is the one day that he's sober, so he's definitely going to drive today.
Also, we learned from our last fucking review with the Were Racer that Shaggy's a good driver.
Yeah. When he's not on the Scooby Snacks.
Okay, listen, people might laugh, but I know people who treat their cars like this.
Yeah. It becomes Fred's entire personality in the Scoob movie.
Oh, that's a shame. It's fun as a bit, but like being the whole personality is a bit much.
Yeah. Like, I kind of liked the Scoob movie.
I've never seen it, and I don't want to. They did Scrappy-Doo dirty, and that's all I need to know.
Scrappy's not in that one. It's the 3D CG one with Dick Dastardly.
Oh well, I thought you said live action movie.
No, I said no. In Scoob.
Oh, okay, my bad. I've also not seen that one, but that one isn't under protest. Yep. It's just I've not had an opportunity to see it. Sure.
Well, it came out at the beginning of COVID as well, so that's a good reason not to have seen it because the world stopped.
Yeah. They've done a good job of making Velma's relative look like Velma. At least the lady one. The male one, not so much.
Oh, Velma's got a hot cousin.
She looks like one of the Hex girls.
She does a bit.
Danning Dungeon. Oh, they just got cheese puffs on a plate.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, we've all seen those.
Yeah.
They never fucking work, but we've seen them.
Mm-hmm. I think Velma's dad would have a different design if he was designed today.
Yeah. He'd look like fucking, what's his name? This is gonna,
What, Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory?
No, not Sheldon. I can't remember his actor's name, and I can't remember his character's name.
What show?
Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah, it'd just be Jerry.
No, he wouldn't be Jerry, he'd be Chris Parnell.
Yeah.
Hey, Shaggy's a rocker.
But, I'm just saying he wouldn't have a red hat on.
Oh, that's what you meant, okay. Why has the skeleton got eyeballs? It makes it look so much more unsettling. Also, like fuck, Kiss is playing a bumblefuck concert in the middle of nowhere.
No, not for, Actually, maybe they would if it was Shaggy's neck of the woods. Yeah, the frickin' eyeballs on the skeleton look so wrong. Yeah, if it was Shaggy's neck of the woods, I could believe it because Shaggy's family are rich as fuck and they probably would pay the going rate.
Yeah.
But not in Velma's neck of the woods.
Oh, God, no.
The Cheesy Puffs have now become Jam Tarts.
Yeah, that's pretty typical of a cat. It's just like, oh, there's a Great Dane barking at you? I don't give a fuck. Come at me.
Yep. Hiss back and turn to a demon. This is just going to be how they actually clear out the area. Oh wait, no, it's the movie.
How are you? What? What do you mean it's the movie?
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought it was. I thought it was a drive-in movie or something.
Drive-ins aren't really a thing in 2003. Is the only issue.
Yeah, but like Scooby-Doo time is weird.
Yeah, but again, this is the first one after a lengthy break.
Yeah, fair enough.
I can guarantee if you're trick-or-treating and you're over the age of, 16, you ain't getting sweets from nobody.
No, you're more likely to get shot.
Well, I'm thinking of Britain rules, but okay. Oh, you got a little caramel on your tip.
Yeah, let me lick it off.
Well, no, because she didn't do that to Fred's fucking cheek, so...
No, she gave him a grope with a tissue.
Man, he looks so much like a human...
Look at both these potential villains.
He looks like so much like a human version of the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. And the tall one looks like Mitt Romney.
Well, Well, what are we? We're near the tail end of like Bush's first term in this year, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
What's your opinion on toffee apples?
I think they're better than the chocolate ones.
Oh yeah, hands down, chocolate ones are ass.
Because the chocolate's crap.
Yeah.
Because it's an inverse pumpkin.
That's kind of cute.
It is. Yeah, the chocolate ones are ass because when you mix water with melted chocolate, it's Batman.
And Batman, Pac-Man, and Witch. It's one of the witches I want to bang from Were Racer.
Yeah.
But yeah, toffee apples. I used to like them a lot as a kid, but like I had one last year, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. They're slightly greater than the sum of their parts, but not by much.
Yeah.
That said, I've never had candy corn.
Neither have I, but the opinion is that it's one of those where apparently not very many people like candy corn, but the people who do really fucking like it.
Yeah, apparently it's like the Marmite of candy.
It tastes like Bovril.
I'm alright with Bovril, but I don't like Marmite. But I don't mind putting it in things.
I remember watching fucking Taskmaster, and one of their tasks was to make Marmite from scratch, and one of the contestants just bought a jar of Marmite.
I made this Marmite out of an existing jar of Marmite and a knife.
like he added like 2 or 3 things to it, and then Greg was just like not having it.
This Marmite I found.
Daphne's jelly.
Yeah.
Age-old question, Rick, which I don't think we've actually asked. Daphne or Velma?
Oh, it's so difficult.
See, my answer to this question's always been the same, and that is, it depends on the day of the week.
It does.
Because they're both so different.
They are, and they're both good in their own way.
And neither of them are bitches.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I know Daphne usually gets painted with that brush, but I've never understood why.
It's because she's not Velma, and people see Velma as like the underdog. Because Daphne is the like traditionally hot one, whereas like these days Velma is also kind of like modern hot.
Mr. Noodles, eat your fucking food, you little bastard.
Yeah, if you leave food out, the dog is having it.
So the problem with dogs having cat food is usually incredibly watery, because cats have this fun habit where they don't like to drink.
Yeah. So if the dog eats it, then they'll just shit.
Yeah, so the age-old rule is you can technically give a cat dog food, but you can't give a dog cat food.
Yeah.
That's not threatening.
Yeah. Like, this is an actual tool that she needs to use for actual farming.
Like, she wasn't threatening them, but...
No. That's just her face.
But also, they did just break and enter.
They did. They did do a crime.
Debbie. Oh. The corn princess.
The good old corn princess, yeah.
That sounds like such a bumblefuck tradition in the middle of nowhere in the States.
Yeah, I'm the pie queen.
You won't believe how many cream pies she's had.
Yeah. It's slightly more than the number that she's made.
Da 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 da.
Burger.
I saw an incredibly funny image that I don't know if I'm allowed to share, but I'm going to share it anyway. Of
You can share the mental image.
I'm going to describe what I saw, and it was so funny. It was a naked clown lady.
Okay.
But she was packing something extra between the legs, if you get my drift.
Ah, sweet.
And she just and it's just a caption saying, "If you squeeze the white run, it honks." And I'm just cackling at that mental image, and then quickly closing my tab because it is technically pornography.
I mean, there's no technically about it. Like, if the bits are out, it's there for gratification.
But to me, it was funnier than it was sexy, so therefore...
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's one of those where I'm subscribed to a Reddit called NSFW Funny.
Yeah.
The only problem is a lot of people don't understand the funny part of that.
Okay.
So, like, about 70% of posts is just porn.
Sure.
And they get downvoted to oblivion, and the comments are all the same, and it's like, you forgot the funny.
That's cool.
It is. How is there more than one? It's alive! Alive!
This is where mechanical engineering becomes the clue of the day.
Ah, yes. Assuming they're physical and they look like holograms or something.
Well, they bumped into one of them, so...
Yeah, but it could be like a projector in the middle.
Sure. Where do you get the fucking hose from?
They are on a farm.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. They are robots. That's some pretty advanced tech for 2003.
It is, yeah.
Also, that's super dangerous with the water.
They're going back into the... they're going to get harvested.
They have a fucking preservation instinct.
Yeah. That's actually kind of a cute plan.
I feel real bad for Shaggy in all of these.
Yeah, he gets volunteered for the bum work of everything.
That's a cute costume.
Hey, it's Hong Kong Phooey!
Wait, what? Oh, yeah!
Yeah, it's Hong Kong Phooey.
I fucking love that. No one's getting that reference in 2003, except for us, because we're nerds.
Yeah, it's quicker than a human eye.
If only it wasn't so racist.
Yeah. I forget what the main guy's called when he's not Hong Kong Phooey. I think it's something like Miles Manners. One of them's got a cat tail.
Where is it inserted?
Oh no, it's Scooby.
Ah, you get it? Because they're the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Yeah, here's Kiss.
So that's a real thing bands actually struggle with?
Yeah, because they're somewhere else every day.
Yeah. So the old joke of The Simpsons where, I can't remember what band it was, where they look under the mic stand and it just says the name of the city, that's actually not a million miles away from the truth.
Yeah.
They picked a banger of a Kiss song for their track, though. Bit of a stereotypically popular one, but still.
It's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, Shout It Out Loud's a great track. I can't think of any other song that would be appropriate, though, for a party. You know, there's not really anything in their discography that would suggest partying over nighttime, perhaps.
Yeah.
Are you picking up what I'm throwing down, Rick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the rest of them are a little bit more explicit.
No, Rick, the joke I'm making is they should be doing rock and roll all night.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fair enough. And party every day,
yeah. So the answer is Rick was not picking up what I was throwing down.
No, I wasn't.
I've never gotten the apple bobbing thing.
Nor the boots with the fur.
The boots with the fur?
Yeah, it's Werewolf Shaggy.
That's a good thing we watched that last week.
Yeah, that's a cute little reference. And it's just someone has gone as Werewolf Shaggy as well. It's great.
It was implied to be Shaggy. Oh, I believe that's also a reference, but I can't remember what to. With Scooby dressing as a superhero.
Yeah, Super-Do. Oh no, I think it's what Scrappy thinks Scooby is.
Maybe. Yeah, no shit, Fred. Oh, Velma's drawn really cute in this show.
She is.
Oh, Daphne.
It's going to be a birthday or something, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Rick, how does that feel?
Yeah. It's a bit shitty when you're a kid, and then when you're older, you realise no one gives a fuck about you. It's fine.
So for those of you who don't know, Rick's birthday is like 2 days before Christmas?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so yeah. Getting everything overwritten with whatever everyone else is doing.
Yeah. I'm not being funny, but yeah, it actually kind of is.
Yeah, legitimately.
But she didn't do anything apart from damage. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That is
there we
so
go.
Kiss. Yeah, so the thing I was referring to, for those of you who aren't potentially watching along, Shaggy lifted up his hair. He appears to have it's not a kiss tattoo, then he's written kiss on his forehead. And one of the band members just stopped for half a second to give him a thumbs up before continuing to the police car.
Yeah. I like the detail that Shaggy's the one that's eating all the chocolate.
Well, I think Scooby is also eating chocolate, but they're not talking about that because he's a doggo.
Yeah.
Don't pick it up with your hand!
She pulled it off the stick with her hand, yeah.
It's going to be the cat, innit?
Oh, definitely. Well, we already saw the cat had red eyes when it went evil.
Yeah. Oh, we don't get a traditional theme, just a bit of spookiness on the piano.
No, I guess it's the first time we don't get the Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Oh, Jesus, it's got lyrics. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I'm guessing this is one of those, a bit like Bob's Burgers, I guess, where it's like a different one every week, maybe?
Maybe. Or this was a special Halloween episode, so maybe that's playing a part.
Yeah, maybe so.
So yeah. I will say, because I'm never going to be able to talk about Kiss again, one of the few things I respect them for, especially Gene Simmons, which, you know, again, bit of an arsehole when it comes to business, but you gotta be, is, I used to read a lot of interviews in my classic rock magazine, which we're not sponsored by, and one of them was, he gets asked sometimes, hey, why don't you play this song or this song? And his answer's always the same, and it's like, yeah, because no one fucking likes that song. Like, yes, there are people who might like that song, but it's not a popular song of theirs, so why the fuck would they play it? No one's paying them to play that.
Yeah, true enough.
I wish more bands thought like this. We're going to start with our new album with songs you've never heard before. Yeah. Yay.
They all fucking do it. It's great.
Yeah. I'm not... Yeah, you got us promote your new shit. I'm not denying it. But fucking release the album first, maybe. I like to belt along with the chorus when I'm seeing a concert. As do, I'm sure, a lot of people who go to concerts.
Yeah, I like to be able to... bop along when possible.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to add, because I feel like Kiss gets shit on a lot, especially Gene Simmons, and, you know, yeah, there's things to shit on them for, but no one ever highlights some of the good aspects of what they do.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, with that out of the way, Rick, what did you think of our essentially dip into the modern era of Scooby-Doo?
It was generally just like a fun little episode. I liked the animation bump. Like, yes, it's the end of the classic charming style, but I think the current modern style is also good because it allows the characters to be very cute.
Yeah, it's very weird because it looks good, especially as you say, the characters themselves. It's such an upgrade. It does lose some of the charm because the old school backgrounds were essentially just watercolor paintings.
Yeah, that's what it loses. But like the rest of it being brought essentially up to date, that's also become kind of future-proof. Like, it's not as timeless, but it's definitely future-proof. A little bit like how like World of Warcraft is, it stood the test of time because it's stylized, you know?
I get you. I mean, you bring up a very good point, because the backgrounds in old school Scooby-Doo, they're timeless, they're classic, they are, to be blunt, in my opinion, beautiful. Everything else about those old shows is a bit shit and forgettable.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think this is going to be one that's more difficult to date, depending on, like, you could release this today, and I would believe you.
I get you, man. That being said, it does feel like Scooby-Doo series that came out after this are acknowledging that fact, and they become a bit more stylized. I can't remember which show it was, but there's one where they drastically alter the character designs, because that's what the art style demanded. So it stands out against the others, but it does look a bit more simple at the same time.
Sure, yeah, the ones where it looks like it might have been done in Flash, you know?
Yeah, you fucking encapsulated that perfectly. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. But yeah, how about you? What do you think?
It was fun. I enjoyed being able to have an excuse to talk about Kiss and their music, because we don't get to talk about music on this show. Visually, it was very nice. After watching 3 weeks of old school Scooby-Doo, the characters actually move like humans. Yeah,
and it's not just the one running away animation.
Yeah, which we missed in this episode, to be honest. We didn't get that over the top. I don't know what you'd call it. It's almost like a signature of Hanna-Barbera, and it's kind of fitting that it was gone.
Yeah.
But you know, Scooby looked great. There was some fun gags. Being told halfway through this episode, or at least very slightly in this episode, that this was an homage to old school Scooby-Doo. Do you think they accomplished that task?
Yeah, I think so. Like, we saw a few things here and there. Like, we saw a few like bait and switch could be the villain people. We were introduced to the actual villain early on, as you normally are, and the other fake out of it can't possibly be her because Daphne's just being jelly was also a kind of little cute touch.
Well, we had Daphne being jelly, but we also had here's video footage of her at this place during this time, and Velma studied that footage and found out, there's a glove, ha 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 ha.
Yeah. and Fred just being a himbo.
Yeah. I think we're both generally in agreement. This was a good episode.
Yeah.
So we're not saying we're never doing Scooby-Doo again, but we probably won't do a whole month of Scooby-Doo again.
Oh yeah, maybe not a whole month. Like maybe a whole month of like classic animations, but yeah.
So with that out of the way, let's get to our wind down, shall we? Officially underway. I know it's going to be tough for you, Rick, but what is your favourite moment?
Probably like close to the end. Who do you talk to about getting paid?
It's so good. It's such a subtle jab as well, because it's
so on brand.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Actually, no. Sorry. I'm changing it to Hong Kong Phooey.
That was a pull.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm changing it to Hong Kong Phooey.
I think it was Hank the janitor is his civilian name.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Just the little Hanna-Barbera references, but that was like the first big one, and then there were a couple of ones after that, like Werewolf Shaggy. But like, yeah, I got it before he said it, and I felt smart about it.
Oh man, you should, because again, the amount of people who remember Hong Kong Phooey is getting fewer and fewer as the years go on.
Yes.
Like, this was an outdated reference in 2003.
Yeah. It's proportional to the number of toes on a diabetic person.
Jesus.
The longer time goes on, the fewer of them there are.
That's fucking dark.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have a favourite moment?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think the ultimate suspect and villain, Marcy, getting caramel on her tit, because we found it amusing at the time, that makes it a funny moment. Especially it's like, oh, you got some caramel on your tit. Let me just get that for you.
Did you burn your tit?
Could you imagine if Fred did that?
Yeah, if only.
Fred gets cancelled 21 years in the future.
Oh, hey, you got something on your titty.
I'm discovering that Fred Jones is another voice Rick can't do.
No, I can't.
But yeah, we can't only talk about the good, can we? We also have to talk about the bad. Rick, do you have a weakest link for me today?
Not really. Like, it was just a good episode. Like, I think the only thing really missing was like the classic hand-drawn backgrounds, and that's just a casual, like the only casualty of the shift to a higher res and otherwise in every other way higher quality of production.
I get what you're saying. I really do.
Like that's really the only nitpick I really had to have. So yeah, I'll throw it over to you. Do you have a weakest link?
Yeah, my weakest link is they crammed a lot into this episode, specifically at the beginning. With the knowledge that this is meant to be an homage episode, it makes a lot of sense, but boy, do they cram a lot.
Yeah.
They very much bring... Because what they want to do is they want to make you be like, oh, it's got to be this guy or this guy or this guy, because they're classic motivations for classic Scooby-Doo bullshit. Unfortunately, the reality is it kind of doesn't work because they don't show up again.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it is what it is. It wasn't bad by any means. It's just, again, when things we watch are actually fun and good, it makes this segment a lot harder to pinpoint.
Yes, exactly.
Mild runner-up, lack of a theme tune intro.
Yeah, we both kind of noticed it.
So it is what it's not a big deal, so that's why it didn't get my big weakest link, but yeah, honourable mention to that. Rick, let's wrap this episode up. Do you have an MVP?
I'm giving it to Fred this week, and it's because I really liked his combination of plans towards the end, in that he was going to use the radio in the mystery machine to triangulate stuff, and also put Shaggy and Scooby in the corpses of the dead pumpkin robots, and also he was involved in your favourite moment, in that he was there to get caramel on the villain's tip.
Because here's the thing, it's Scooby-Doo. If he'd have reached out and wiped it away, no one would have batted an eyelid, except, looking back at it in 20 years, you're like, oh, did he just...
Yeah, I think they knew by then. But yes, who's going to get your MVP this time round?
It's a tough one, honestly. I think my MVP has to go to... I think it's going to Kiss.
Yeah.
It might not be entirely deserved. They were in a very small episode, and they didn't even play an entire song. I don't know if you noticed, Rick, but they sung the first chorus and then just kept repeating the shout it out loud part.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because by that point the focus was not on the song anymore. The song was the background to the action that was happening that was fun.
Yeah, I get it. I don't think people know this about me, but I'm a fan of Kiss, their music, less the band, but their music is fun. Kiss is such a weird band because they dress the way they do and they make themselves look very demonic, and then they sing shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, if you've never heard a Kiss song, you might think they're proper fucking heavy metal and tough and bastards. No, they sing about this and like Love Gun.
Yeah, like they look like Lordy. And then they sing like uplifting stuff.
Yeah, they sing fucking songs like fucking Noddy Holden.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the fucking band name, Rick? That's gonna drive me nuts.
What, like
Slade?
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
So Chris dresses and acts the way they do on stage, but they sing songs as if they're Slade.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny to me. But yeah, they get my MVP because I like the song they chose. They had a couple of fun gags of like, yeah, we're here to rock, and you just get Gene Simmons just being like, it's Danning Junction, dude. It's like, Danning Junction, and then the little fucking thumbs up to Shaggy for having Kiss on his forehead, and of course, possibly the best joke of the entire episode. So who do we talk to get paid?
Yep.
Because apparently the person who hired them is the person who's going to jail. Except, as we know, they only get community community service.
Yeah, where she just gets to, she picks up shit with a stick.
Yeah, what is...
for 200 hours.
What is up with that, by the way? Because that appears to be an American thing. Because in Britain, we have litter pickers. They're like little claws on sticks. But in America, you get this giant stick with a pointy, sharp bullshit on the end.
Yeah, so it's just fewer moving parts. You can skewer more things before you have to de-kebab it into your bin bag.
Yeah, but why does America choose that instead of the claws?
Fewer moving parts. You can make a stick more easily than you can make something with a hinge.
Yeah, but claws are easier to do the job you're trying to do. You will get more done.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, but they don't want you to have an easy time. They want you to do community service.
Yeah, but the community service, the point of it is you're meant to do a service, and you can do more of a service if you have equipment that works.
Well, it's also a punishment, so...
Yeah, but the punishment is you have to clean up fucking rubbish.
Yeah, okay, but also, like... The punishment is also partly being out there doing it rather than the result. So a lot of the time, making the punishment more difficult to do is part of the punishment.
But that's asinine.
I know.
Fuck you, America. And on that bombshell, thanks for getting to the end of our episode, especially our lovely American listeners. We're not having a go at you for being American. We're having a go at your system. You can have a go at ours. Ours is bullshit too. But
yes.
Yeah. That is the very last of Scooby-Doo in our books. That was Scooby-Doo. Where Are You? I want to say it was what it was called.
I think wasn't it What's New Scooby-Doo?
What's New Scooby-Doo? My apologies. We've done a lot of Scooby-Doo. The names are very similar.
Yeah, it was What's New Scooby-Doo. Yeah,
cool. So that's the end of Scooby-Doo for this year. Join us again next week where we finally move on to greener pastures. In between next week's episode and this episode, you'll actually be able to listen to our planning session. So tune into that. Let us know in the comment section down below what you thought of this incarnation of Scooby-Doo, what you think we got wrong. Do you think we should have watched a different episode from this series and would have been a better showing off of what the show is about? We are eager to hear what you think. We also appreciate likes and subscribes. They help grow the channel. Apparently, we wouldn't know. Last but not least, we do have an email address for people not watching or listening via YouTube or Spotify, respectively. That email address is
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Send us a very good message and we will read it out on the podcast, live on air. But send us a nasty message and we'll pretend it didn't exist.
Or if it's really funny, we'll also read that.
Yeah. If you're a Paul the Animal Parker, we'd love to hear from you. And yeah, there's not much else to say apart from this rambly-bambly outro is coming to an end, and so are we. We'll see you again next week for more review. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.